dear Bagginses and Boffins.
One cannot satisfy thirst by drinking seawater.
Yeah. All right. Well,
I think that's okay.
I think it's okay too. It's not great. It's not horrible. I wouldn't say that it's supposed to be, like, it's not supposed to be epic. It's just supposed to be a saying that one might say.
Mm-hmm.
The dog may bark at the moon, but he cannot bring it down.
I actually kind of like it. I'm with you. I think it's okay, and I think it fits with the dwarves.
Do you know what it does sound like, though?
What's that?
It sounds like you're playing a video game, and this is like an NPC's
yes
slogan, like he's taunting you.
Yeah. Now, honestly, there could be a whole. I actually had a whole other video for us planned to talk about that kind of stuff, because there's some other shows that I've noticed recently that have essentially NPC dialogue, and I think you hit the nail on the head. I think that's the biggest problem with the Rings of Power dialogue, is that a lot of the characters sound like NPCs in a bad video game. Like I think you've nailed it. I think that is what we're hearing, and why we're reacting to it in the way we are. You obviously react a lot more, not favorably, but you're a lot less upset by it, because I think you're fine to play a bad video game from time to time.
I was playing just earlier today. I was playing an old game, Stronghold Crusader, and I don't know, when you're getting sieged, like you're getting attacked, or vice versa, the enemy computer player will have something they say.
Mm-hmm.
And this sounds like something they would say when they're about to attack me.
Yep, it does. It straight up does.
There's a tempest in me.
So I agree with you. I think you've nailed it. I think that is what is been such a holdup for me. Even like the bad dialogue of other movies doesn't get to me the same way that this does.
It's because it's Tolkien, and you're disappointed.
Well, there's that, but I think also at the same time, like, when you have a character say something that is NPC like, you immediately get taken out of it a little bit, because you're not only are you laughing at it, but at the same time you're like, nobody would say that. Like, that's not real. Like, that's a fake. That's a computer generated character saying that. Whereas these are actual actors saying it.
Friend.
I don't know why they have friend here. I think that is actually on point, to be honest. Like, what do they want him to say? Like Belloc or something? Like, I don't like. I don't even want this character to be Gandalf. Like, if it, you know what I mean? Like, I'm fine with this character not being Gandalf and just doing his own thing. So, whatever.
Hearts, even bigger in our
right.
feet.
This
even
is it.
bigger in our feet.
Our hearts even bigger than our feet.
Yeah. You know what? I'll let you do that one, because like you know where I stand.
I mean, we've had old videos about this.
I think we have. I think we did an entire video on this one. We could just skip it.
It's still as bad as before.
So, okay. So one thing I'll say though is there's a difference between bad that like you hate it and you're upset, and bad that it's funny. And this is bad, it's funny. And in a way, I'm actually more fine with that.
It shouldn't be funny.
Oh, no.
This is not a time for it to be funny.
No, well, so here's the thing, and we've actually done a video on this. I mean, we're now just retreading a bunch of stuff that we've done, but our original thought was the Harfoots are included, A, to tie into the Hobbits, obviously, but also as comic relief. And that's how what these creators saw in the Hobbits. They saw Merry and Pippin and said comic relief. And then they saw dwarves, they saw Gimli and said comic relief. And that's the problem I have with how they're handling these characters. They're borderline on the dwarves. I'm still really happy with how they're handling the dwarves, but they are borderline, especially with like the give it to me raw line. Like they are on that cusp of crossing into gimmicky comic relief for the dwarves, and the dwarves are currently my favorite group here. So I think that's the issue, is that they have essentially said these groups of characters are only going to be comic relief. Everything has to have some level of silliness to it, like this line here. Like even when they were like, you and I did a video where we were talking about how when someone dies, they like laugh at them. Like, what the heck is going on in this creepy society? So I think that's the problem.
With the cause of death. In memoriams don't usually include the cause of death. We just need to mention that again.
Yeah.
Those who know what we're referencing.
Yeah. And if you don't, I think you should leave.
Before we begin our next journey, we remember those from prior migrations who fell behind.
Let's watch our in memoriam segment.
Oh no.
Calm down, they're old ones. They don't stay babies forever, idiot. Fucking stupid.
Miles Brightapple. Stuck in the snows of the mountain pass.
Shirley Kratzworth Shane.
Taken by landslide one rainy winter day.
Memoriams don't usually include how they died.
Shut up!
Tiny Dinky Daffy, 92. Pancaked by drunk dump truck driver.
Lovo Baljabook. Bees. We all loved him, but he wasn't Aegis.
Little Jeffy Jeremy, 96. Throat slashed.
God.
Oh, somebody get her! She's trying to get Jarvis! All right, you know what? This one's dumb. Dump it. Trash it. This one's garbage.
Because a burden shared may either be halved or doubled, depending on the heart that receives it.
All right, what's our next one here?
Burden shared may either be halved or doubled, depending on the heart that receives it.
Wait, what? See, I'm fine with that.
I'm skipping it. I'm just confused.
Yeah.
I need context.
I knew half of it half as well as I should like, and I liked less than half of it half as well as it deserved. So I have no idea what that one was about.
Okay, we're Galadriel.
Oh, okay. So this is a back and forth, and this is all delivery. Okay, this is all the problem with delivery.
You have not seen what I have seen. I've seen my share. You have not seen what I have seen.
So you see what they're trying to do there, right? They are trying to really, like Galadriel is really trying to emphasize what she's worried about, and so that's what this is supposed to be. It's just the delivery and the timing of the edit. I think I again, this is one where I think it could have been done tastefully, and I think like Peter Jackson could have taken this scene and it would have been, people would have loved it. Like if you just touch it up a little bit more sing-songy, you even maybe have some tears and whatnot. Like think back to when the Fellowship first encountered Galadriel. There's similar ideas there, where Galadriel's trying to explain to Frodo, you know.
Right. Do you think Kate Blanchett could have delivered this line?
If you give Kate Blanchett any of these lines, it'd be a masterpiece. You give her the frickin' give it to me raw line, it's gonna be a masterpiece. Okay, Kate Blanchett is awesome. She's the master. But it's not that these actors are bad. I know some people are gonna say these actors are bad. It's not even just that. It's also the edit.
I don't think they're that bad. No.
I know. Maybe we'll do a video on that at some point. But like for me, it's not always on just the actors. People don't understand how much of the edit affects how we perceive the actor's ability. So because of how they've like the timing of how they've sped it up so that she goes, "You have not seen what I've seen." He goes, "I've seen my share." And then it cuts back to her for a pause. The pause makes it seem weird acting, but like the editor and the director did that. Like they probably just told her to stare at the camera like that and then say, "You've not seen what I've seen." Like that's not necessarily on her. But anyway, like I digress. Like I think there's a problem across the board on how they wanted to perceive that scene. And I personally think that they've misjudged the style that some of these scenes are supposed to be. Because if you honestly look at that scene and when Galadriel and Frodo are talking, if you had silly actors doing that, it could be a comedy. Just the way it's kind of sing-songy at first, and just the way like Frodo offering her the ring, like it can be really goofy if done badly. And yet they do it in this magical, mystical way where you're almost in a trance, as is Frodo, kind of. So like it works on that level. And so here they need to kind of tap into that and not just have Galadriel here again. They've had this character and she's just pushing people away. She's just pushing. Like, here is her best friend and she's like, "You've not seen what I've seen." And he's like, I've seen my share. Like, things are bad. And she's like, "You have not seen what I've seen. This is my story." It's like, okay, calm down. You don't know what he's gone through, okay? He's dealing with some crazy stuff too. I mean, yeah, you I guess you did bring Sauron around, but okay, so what do we got here from our dwarf friends?
Give me the meat.
Oh,
and give it
yeah.
to me raw.
All right, we've covered this.
Give me the meat.
We covered the
and
give
give
it
to me raw.
raw line.
Good.
Give me the meat and give it to me raw.
Yeah. I mean, we've kind of talked about that one. I don't think they're saving it, but again, I'm kind of with you. It's not fully out of character with the dwarves. It's just a bit too.
It says people may like me. Do you think the innuendo's intended, or were they just not? They weren't thinking about.
I do not think the innuendo is intended, and that is the mark of a bad writer right there. Like, I'm sorry, but when you write a line like that, you need to say it out loud to someone, and if that person thinks you're sexually harassing them, you've written a bad piece of dialogue. I'm sorry, that's just what happens. Like, like that's an inappropriate line. It's not. It is. Here's the thing. If it was epic, if there was some way to make it epic, I'm trying to think off the cuff of like an epic line that also has a sexual innuendo to it. If it was so good, then you can go with it. But it's not good enough to like say, I don't care that it's gonna be weird and laughed at. I'm going with it anyway. So yeah, I think regardless of the fact that it's not even that bad of a line, I just think because of the fact that it is an innuendo and it's just a little too silly, I personally think it's one of the reasons, one of the big mess ups of dialogue. But yeah, all right, let's see what Galadriel has for us.
Your tongue.
Here's what.
Bite your tongue.
Eat your tongue.
Eat your tongue.
Eat your tongue.
It's not terrible. It's not good.
Well, there was the stranger in there too. I think he was saying friend again.
No, he said, I'm good.
I'm good.
Yeah, again, like.
Whatever. He has simple the character's supposed to have a simple vocabulary, right?
Yeah, and also I kind of like it works. Yeah, it works well with that character to me. To me, there's not a ton wrong with the dialogue from the stranger.
It's ripping off the Iron Giant.
Yes, yeah, obviously, yeah. I mean, I go watch the Iron Giant for all you people that don't know what we're talking about. It's a great movie. It's a great film, and that shows you how that line works, right? Like that line makes you tear up in that movie. It can work, and this is what I'm trying to talk about in terms of like how you edit the line and how you edit the scene. In Iron Giant, the way that shot happens, where like the iron okay, I don't want to spoil it for people, but like it's just the way it works, it is a very emotional scene. And so the line itself here, some people laugh at it. There, they will cry at it because it's so beautiful. So to me, it's not that bad.
Better job,
yeah. But that's all I'm trying to say is like some of these lines, it's just the way it's presented. It's not even the line itself versus the line about the boat. Why do boats float and rocks sink? That's just a bad line because it doesn't really make too much sense, and it doesn't help you understand elves any better. It doesn't help you understand the world any better. It's just a bad piece of writing trying to emulate Tolkien.
I regret to announce this is the end. I bid you all a very fond farewell.